there. I'm just kind of popping on a real impromptu live with a wreath making tip. I was actually posting on TikTok answering a viewer's question. I thought, well, while I'm doing that, you guys, somebody out there might uh, have the same question on Facebook. Plus, I'm a little bit less limited on time here where I could show the full thing. So anyway, I'm going to get my phone going so I can see people's questions if they come in. And I did not send out an alert for this. I've been running like a mad lady all day today. And in fact, I missed bow time and everything. So we'll have to reschedule that. But anyway, I just ran out of time. So let me get my page up here so I can see if anybody's popped in. Of course, my phone's going to be slow today. Come on. But if you're new here, I'm Teri Smith. I'm the owner of Adorable Deco Decor, and we make and sell wreaths, other types of home decor. I also work toward teaching others to make their own designs through my wreath making group. And still waiting on my page to come up here. Come on, phone. Hey, Sharon, how are you? There we go. Goodness. I think I've got too many videos on my phone. I think that's a problem. But hey, Pat. Hey, Mary. Thank you for being here. But like I said, this is just going to be something real quick. If you're just tuning in, I was posting a video in reply to a question that a viewer on TikTok answered or asked me. And after I got done, I thought, well, guys, people on Facebook, if somebody has it over here, maybe somebody on Facebook might have the same question. And so I'm going to show it to you too. So, Ruth, you're having a heat wave. We are too, Ruth. Yeah. When I came back in from running, I had to run my granddaughter to another relative today, but it was like 99 degrees, and the humidity is like you're wearing it. So hopefully it'll be short-lived, you guys. But we need rain in the worst way. We got a little bit over the weekend, not this weekend, last weekend, but we need a lot of rain. So, hey, Dana. So anyway, the question I'm answering, I had a viewer on TikTok. She was wondering how I applied or how I made my mesh um, strips, how I made them into a ruffle. And my answer to her was that I don't, I've got two different methods that I typically will use. And I don't worry a whole lot about them. As I told her, by the time you get all your goodies on your wreath, your ribbon, your attachments, florals, greenery, whatever else you're going to add, you really can't tell if you're just a little bit off on your ruffles. So don't lose a lot of sleep over it, okay? But typically when I'm making just a strict deco mesh ruffle wreath, um, I usually start out with a base, just a poof base. These are 10-inch poofs. I use 21-inch typically on my poof base, 21-inch mesh. And typically I will cut my 10-inch mesh in about 20-inch strips. Now sometimes I might vary that depending on what I'm going to do. Like if I've got a big bulky item I want to add to the mesh or to the wreath, I might cut that down just a little bit. But and sometimes, in fact, I don't even put a mesh ruffle in all of the ties. But with mesh, the main thing you got to worry about is fray. Um, there's several tips I can give you about limiting the fray in your mesh wreaths. But one of the biggest things that I've noticed that is if I can limit the exposed raw edges, see, it's already starting to fray. And this is good quality mesh, which that's another tip. Buy good quality mesh. It's not that much more expensive than if you go to Hobby Lobby, any place like that. Some of their mesh is good, though, so you just got to look at it. You want to look for a nice, tight weave. See how that's tightly woven? I'm going to fall on the table there. But you want a nice, tightly woven material, evenly woven as well. But but anyway, we're wanting to limit this exposed edge here that has been cut. And mesh just naturally, as it's on the roll, this is the way that it comes. as it's on the roll, when you cut off a piece of it, it's going to kind of want to curl in on itself. Closer you get to the end of the roll, the tighter it's going to get. But what I do is I just lay it up here right on my chest or my belly, wherever, and I let it kind of roll in on itself. It'll go ahead and do that on its own. I'll tuck these edges in, just like that. Okay, so I don't have any raw edges exposed, maybe a little bit down here, but you know, you get the drift. And then I just squash it together. That's all I do. And if you've got it a little bit uneven like I do, I'll come over here and I'll pull just a little bit. But the main thing, I don't want to limit that raw edge on my mesh. And then I just take it, again, this is how it's facing away with me, with the curls facing away. Squash it in there. And then I just take it face down like this. This was the part was faced away from me. And I just drop it. Let me zoom in here. I untie one of my ties. And then I put it down like this. And I push it down in there far. I don't just set it on there. I push it down in there, and that helps poof that up a little bit and add to the curl. Or the ruffle, I should say. Curls are different. Okay, and then that's what it looks like at the end. So that easy peasy, right? So let me zoom out again. And now, as I said, I have two methods that I use. We use the same piece of mesh. Now, if I'm just using or just making a pure only ruffle wreath, my cuts are going to be longer. I typically use 30 inches, whereas this one's 20. We'll have to use our imagination a little bit here. But I usually do 30-inch strips of 10-inch mesh. And again, the goal is to limit the exposure of these raw edges here. So I want to make sure that those are tucked in. So I'm going to zoom in again. So how I do this, see, again, it's going to curl in on itself, right? So I'm going to take that, I'm going to fold it just a little bit. I tell you what, let me get this, I'll put this on here so I can hold that where you can see. So I let it curl in on itself, and then I curl it again, or turn it again. So that raw edge is way in there, way in the inside. And then I just gobble it up with my fingers, just like this. And again, it's going to curl in on itself. So I take that edge, and I curl it under, and curl it under. And then I pinch it in the middle. Zoom out again. And again, I'm going to set that, I'm going to untie this wreath tie, but this is for a wreath that I'm not going to have a poof base, but I'm just showing you how I'm going to add it. And then again, this is the side where it's curled in. I'm going to put that down in that tie, pushing it down while I'm tightening that tie. So so yeah, it's real simple. And again, don't lose a whole lot of sleep worrying about your ruffles. Again, if it's just a ruffle wreath, then I'm going to be a little bit more particular, a little bit more careful with it. But on these, or if I'm using an evergreen base, I just turn those babies in, let them roll in on themselves, and then I just squash it. Just like that. Quick and easy. So let me see if anybody has any questions. Hey, Catherine. Yeah, this is just an impromptu live. Like I said, I was answering another question for somebody else, and I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and record this. Hey, Julie. Hey, Anna and Lori. Anna Marie. There's Melissa, Amy. Thank you guys for being here. So, anybody else have any other questions while I'm here? Now, I did want to tell you, too. Now, this is, I just posted it today, I think, on my page here. But if you've been hearing me talk about, I was going to be doing the basic wreath making course. I have got that all set up now, and I posted a link. Let me post it right here too. I forgot about that. Let me do that while we're live. And it's going to be live July 15th, 16th, and 17th. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You do not have to be present for the live portion. You can always watch the other. If if for some reason if you can't make it, you can always watch it at a later date. So don't worry about that. But it's going to be 15th, 16th, and 17th. And I just posted the link in the comments where you can sign up for it. It's very inexpensive. Um, and we're going to be covering things like real basic things. I wish I would have known when I first started making wreaths, but it's about, we're going to talk about the different kinds of mesh. We're going to talk about the different kinds of greenery, how to match greenery, uh, florals, um, what else? How to make a design, or how to bring all your product together to decide on supplies for a design. Um, Talk about the different kinds of ribbons and that kind of thing. So it's going to be basic things, tools. We'll talk about that too. I'm not going to tell you tools that you're going to need if you're going to be 5 years down the road. I'm going to talk basic tools just to get you started. The things you're going to absolutely need to get started. So, but we're glad to have you. And like I said, it's going to be July 15th, 16th, and 17th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You do not have to be live. So let me see if I have any questions here. No questions? Okay. Hi, Julie. Hey, Sandra. Okay. Well, that's all I have for you today. And I'll go live again. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or the next day, but I'll try to make up the bow making. And we'll probably work on the pro bow. I think we've done handmade. We've done an easy bow lately. We need to do the pro bow next time I go live with the bow making. So, hey, Diana, how are you? Are you roasting too? We are like smothering hot here in Indiana. It's smothering hot. No other questions? Okay, last call. Hot. Yes, I figured you were. You're right in the line there. So, okay, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. And if you know any beginning wreath makers that might be um, benefited by viewing this video, if you wouldn't mind just to pass that on to them, I would really appreciate it. And you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.